what's going on, guys? I'm Derrick.
And I'm Chris. Welcome
Yes,
back.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're on the sidelines with the Sideline guys. We are back for another week, another episode. Um, and this is a very interesting week 2, right?
Yes, sir, man. I've been waiting all week to talk to you about this. Legit.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, bro. I know you itching, bro.
All right, I'm just gonna hop off the top right now. I just want to say, for all the listeners at home, for everybody that's here watching live, do y'all know what a sadness hedge is? That's the question. That's how I'm starting today. A sadness hedge is when you have so much love for something. You
Yeah.
want something to happen so bad that you're like, I'm gonna say that it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna
Yeah.
prepare myself for failure so that I'm not too disappointed
Yeah.
when it does fail. And I did that this week, and I'm telling you, for the rest of the season, I'm never doing it again. I got nothing to be afraid of anymore. Okay, my homer is out. I'm picking Ravens
Yes.
every week,
Yeah.
but it was all strategic. I just wanted to say this team, man, is relentless. This team is relentless.
Yeah.
And after watching what happened early on in that game, all the critics were out already. Everyone was already talking before the first quarter was over.
Yeah.
Same old Lamar making the same mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm of the belief. I'm not somebody that's expecting him to become John Elway or to become some sort of pocket passer at all. I have learned to accept the talent that he is and really
Yeah.
just go along with it. And the fact that he's able to do things like that and come back from mistakes like that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any quarterbacks really in this league that show that kind of resolve. I mean, there was some close matchups this week,
Yeah.
but just down to the defense making big plays when we needed them.
Mm-hmm.
There was just so many moments in that game that it felt like years in the making. I've been waiting for years to watch a game like this.
Yeah.
And regardless of all the holes that need to be filled, I thought the line looked better. I thought they did a better job at protecting. And then just those big plays, once again, getting a big QB hit that led to an interception, getting a big hit on Clyde Edwards-Helaire
Mm-hmm.
to give us that final fumble. I
Yeah.
just want to say, man, no matter what's going on, no matter all the talk, this team is still a top 4 team in my opinion, and we showed that. I think a lot of people are gonna have a hard time playing those Chiefs. It wasn't a perfect game by any means.
Right.
Things could go either way every week. We saw that in week 1 with that fumble against us, but man, I just am happy to be a Ravens fan, and I know we can get over that hump now. That feels so good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was interesting. I honestly, because of all the injuries that you guys have, I don't know. See, I didn't expect you guys to lay down. I expected a fight, but I didn't expect for it to be that close of a game. Truth be told, that was interesting. That was interesting. The run game was pretty good too. That was really good. I think Latavius Murray. You guys, you think you feel good with him as your lead, or you think you
I
need
definitely,
to add
it's
more?
such a strange position. I like him in when we're doing passing scenarios,
Yeah.
especially play action stuff. I like Tyson's upside, but there's a lot of issues in the pass blocking,
Hmm.
which is what keeps him off the field, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I feel like, man, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let
Yeah.
you go because I will rant.
Go for it, bro.
All right. The last thing I want to say is like when it came down, like I feel like the majority of the plays you always see Mahomes roll out, and it's normal at
Hmm.
this point. It's
Yeah.
almost like it's
You expect it.
expected that that's what he does exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought that they were on him all game and making him do that, regardless of if that's what he kind of goes to, regardless of if that's what he wants to do.
Right.
We had him running out the entire game, and there was a lot of times that we were able to make plays off of that. There's no way to replicate a game like that. Like that's all
Right.
I have to say. I don't expect this team to play perfect ball at all.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like you said, the heart, being willing to keep going out there and keep trying to make big plays, regardless of what happened on the last drive. Um, y'all got a problem to deal with. Y'all got a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. I mean, do you? I know it's kind of early, but do you think they can make some noise in the AFC this year with all the injuries, or you think this is just like a flash in the pan type of thing?
I mean, we have seen that against the Chiefs, but from other teams, of course,
Right.
whether it be the Chargers, the Raiders. Once again, that team isn't unstoppable. But with all that in mind, I think no matter what, regardless of who's out there, our team is scheming and doing everything they can to try to fill those gaps.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to give ourselves a chance. That's all that, in my opinion, I got out of this. And it made me so much more confident than I was before in our ability to just, like I said, just constantly put ourselves in a position to try to make that play, regardless of what's going on. And I think you saw that week one. You see that now again in week two. And I just want to hope that they keep that same momentum and keep the ground game going, because that's really where everything opens up for us for sure.
For sure. I mean, and we swapped places this week, man. My team got the L, yeah, got the W. I'm hoping we both get a win next week, man, because I selfishly don't want to lose. I just don't want to lose to the Cowboys. Like,
I know, and that's
regardless
such a
of how the
fun
season
game.
goes, yeah, man. Regardless of it, I don't really care. I mean, I do care how the season goes. I just don't want to lose to the Cowboys. I don't want to lose to the Cowboys. And I don't want to lose to the Giants. Those are two teams that I'm just like, please don't, please don't.
That's fair.
Yeah. But let's get into our preview for week 3, because I think we got a couple of nice games this week. What do you feel about that
Yes,
Thursday
sir.
game though?
Man, let's jump right into it. What can you say about this Panthers team? I think both you and I
Yeah.
have overlooked this team. I overlooked them week one. I picked the Jets over them. I'll go back.
Yeah.
I'm not shying away from it. I
Yeah.
picked the Jets to beat them. And
Yeah.
after seeing what the Saints did against the Packers and seeing how they played against the Saints,
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing that I overlooked, especially, is the growth of that defensive front. I think they
Yeah.
have something very, very similar is going on over there to what's happening in Washington, to what's
Yeah.
happening in San Francisco. You got a really young line, really
Mm-hmm.
athletic, and some guys that are willing to make plays. There's been a lot of people sort of making similarities to sort of a college defense where they're jumping out of position, they're all over the place, but they're with their athleticism, they're able to make those plays. So
Yeah.
it's been really cool to watch them come together, man. I feel good for McCaffrey. It's always one of those situations where you see such a good player and you want good things around them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and man, we did. I'm the biggest one. I'll admit it. I was talking a bunch about Sam Darnold. I was saying,
Yeah.
yo, this isn't what this isn't the situation you want, and you guys put yourself in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's been delivering has been really cool to see too. Just seeing him grow, and I mean, if any team is consistent, it's the Jets at doing one thing, being consistently terrible.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. Like, I don't I really don't know if I had any expectations for Sam Darnold in New York, because again, like you said, they're just consistent at losing. But I felt like him going to Carolina was going to be a good move for him. Um, I still don't know what I expect from him, but I expect to see more than what we saw from him in New York. I think they got some nice pieces, man. Like you said, that defense is interesting. And I think for me, one of the biggest reasons for kind of like questioning that defense was Luke Kuechly not being there anymore. That was like my biggest thing about their defense. So you're right, they look good. They look good. I mean, that division in general is going to be interesting this year. It's going to be interesting. I think they're going to be close. I mean, because take the Falcons out of it, they're not doing anything. But I think
Exactly.
between Carolina, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans, that I think we're going to see a nice race to the finish with them this year. So I'm interested. This is one of the divisions I'm actually highly intrigued with this season. So we'll see. We'll see. They're facing Houston, correct?
Yes, they're facing Houston. And that's why I feel like it's a big talking point, because you could sort of
Yeah.
pencil him in. I mean, Tyrod's not going to be playing because of a hamstring injury. We're interested to see how Davis Mills does in his
Yeah.
debut. I wasn't expecting to see him play at all this year, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see. I think that this is going to be another one of those moments for this fan base where a couple things happen and you can see them literally pulling their hairs out in the stands. But
Mhm.
um, I think you shouldn't read too much into Carolina potentially going 3-0. That's what I see happening. I think they're going
Mhm.
to beat the Texans. Um, do I think that means they're a top 5 team in the league? Definitely not. I think they had a very
Yeah.
easy schedule that was made to look a lot better because of how the Saints performed week one.
Mhm.
Um, but Man, just got to be happy for them and see where they could take it for real.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all undefeated seasons aren't the same. they're not
Exactly.
they're not equal. So yeah, I think they're gonna beat them handedly this week. Honestly, I really just feel bad for Tyrod Taylor, truth be told, because I mean he got that starting position now. It's what he's got a hamstring injury, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's one of those things that like I feel bad for him because this was his moment to shine. So, um,
And
I
man,
don't.
if he didn't fall out of that game, you could make an argument that they might have beat the Browns,
Oh yeah,
and we would have been
yeah.
having a completely different
Now
conversation
that
today
would have been interesting.
for
That would have
sure.
been very interesting if they did that. Because honestly, going into the season, I honestly didn't expect. I don't know if I expected more than 2 wins from Houston this season.
Mm-hmm.
So they're showing a little bit better than what I expected from them. I don't. I don't know. I'm not gonna make a prediction about them. I just know that they're better than what I thought they were gonna be.
For sure. And
you
I
know,
think that makes management upset. I think they don't
it
want them
does.
to
It
be that
should.
good. I
Yeah,
don't
it should.
exactly.
It should. Honestly, with Tua being knocked out with the rib injury, is that do you see them like trading for Deshaun now, or are we like one step closer to that, or you think like this is just early season and they're just gonna keep going?
I think it's early season injuries. I think there's a chance that they might try to sign a flyer on somebody like Cam or something like that. I think those issues around the trade still remain.
Yeah.
You know how we feel about that by now, guys. But I just feel like the Dolphins aren't as bad as they were made to look against the Bills. I really feel like the Bills have their number in a lot of ways.
Oh, for sure.
And I think his injury is a rib cartilage issue, so it shouldn't be nothing too serious. He shouldn't be out for too long.
Yeah,
And they should be able to bounce back from it. But that definitely was a bad loss,
that
especially
was.
where they're hoping to be towards the end of the season.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. So we both got Panthers winning this game, right?
Yes, sir. No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah,
Can't talk
that's
too much about Darnold this week. We'll see.
yeah, yeah. Let me ask you a quick question. Fantasy. Do you see any like outside of McCaffrey? Who's like the biggest gem in this game?
This is going to be a random name because I know I threw out Ingram last week, but I would say
Yeah,
Philip Lindsay. I think he's been featured a lot in a lot of screen passing roles, and I
yeah.
think with a rookie QB making his debut, I think they're going to want to try to make it easy on him.
Hmm.
So I could see Philip Lindsay doing a lot of things in dink and dump scenarios. Um, I don't think the Panthers are going to ball out offensively against the Texans either. I think they've been a little feisty on defense, and a lot of people were expecting them to be. So I would say that just the regulars, McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson might not be a bad play either. But
Yo,
definitely Philip Lindsay if you could grab him.
bro, I know it's early season, but Robbie hasn't produced like I thought he was for my fantasy team.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting to like a little bit more from him. Still early season, but he's in one of my leagues. He's already got me sitting here thinking, man.
Like, did I mess up? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
a big part of that too is like when you have the season with the half a season or whatever it was without McCaffrey, and you
Hmm.
see those numbers inflate, you start to think,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
they're on that upward trajectory, but really
yeah.
it's just an opportunity. So that's something to look out for. I think there's always the flyer play. You can hope he gets that deep ball or something like that, but I feel you on that. There's been a couple of people that I could admit are a little disappointing in fantasy this season for
Yeah,
real. So,
yeah. It's horrible. All right. So what's our next marquee game?
I mean, this is another really good one. We got the Chargers up against the Chiefs.
Yeah. And this is
Man,
in
so I'm
this
gonna
is
start. We gotta talk about what happened because I know you
yeah.
don't want to talk about them. I'm gonna talk good about them, so you don't have to. Right, man.
Go
I
ahead.
think regardless of all the shit we talk about the Cowboys, regardless of all the problems they got, I think for real they did a really good job bouncing back week 2. I think I didn't expect the game to look like that at all. They moved Micah Parsons to the DE position for the first time,
Yeah,
and I believe, since high school, he hasn't played DE, and he did a really good job, man. He got
it
two
did.
QB hits and just a lot of pressure, and that's definitely what you need against that Chargers team. Um, I was just really interested to see the way that game played out. It was a very slow game, and this is another thing that I noticed that a lot of people have been talking about. I want to get your opinion on it because I already
Mhm.
know how you feel about Zeke.
Yeah.
Have you been watching Tony Pollard? Have you been
Bro,
seeing his plays?
look, everyone knows I hate the Cowboys with every fiber of my being, and I know Darren's watching live, so I'm stressing that out so he knows this. But Pollard to me, like I understand, Zeke being the guy you paid all that money to, you're gonna, feature him as much as possible. To me, Pollard, since like last year, was a guy that I'm thinking like should just be the guy. Because he's running, let me put it like this, he's making better plays than Zeke is. He just looks more electric. Um I don't know. I think we talked about it before, but Zeke to me has just like regressed since he got paid. So, like just from what we're watching, it seems like Pollard should be the guy, and he's running hard, man. He's running hard. I don't know. Like I was saying, like a year or two ago, it almost made sense to look into trading Zeke so that you can get more players to fill in those other positions that you need, especially like on defense in the secondary. Um, and just feature Pollard. Just 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 feature him and see where you go. I know that might not be the sexy move, it might not be the flashy move, but like honestly, it would fill in a lot of gaps that they have that you know would actually allow Dallas Cowboys to live the fantasy they've been dreaming about for like the last 20 plus years.
They're far away from living that dream. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I mean they did a great job against the Chargers last week. I see like Mike said in here earlier, the Chargers aren't there yet. Um, I don't I don't know that I can fully say that. I don't know if I could fully agree with that. I see where he's coming from. Um, I just think that they just missed some plays last week. I don't want to indict them, where they are now, indict them for what happened last week and say that's just, the team that they fully are. Um, but I think there's merit to that comment. I don't know that I'm fully there yet. Um, I think if the Chargers pretty much do somewhere along the same things as they did last year, okay, you know, that's fine. Um, but Herbert looked phenomenal out there. He,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I
I
think
mean,
it's such a hard one to talk to really gauge because I
yeah,
feel like they the big talk about this team is the bolstered offensive line. Everyone's always talking about that and pointing to that number one pick, Rashawn Slater, and saying, you guys are doing something actively to fix this.
hmm,
Let's see how it looks.
yeah,
And the fact that they were able to get pressured like that from the Cowboys, in my opinion, is not a good sign at all.
yeah,
It's not saying anything about the Cowboys. It's saying
yeah,
more so about your line.
yeah, line, yeah,
So I agree. I think that maybe more synergy is what's needed in order to fix that problem for the Chargers. But
hmm,
I think that game was very interesting for me to see it unfold because I really never thought that there would be any way that that wouldn't be a shootout. I
yeah,
didn't think that
yeah,
there would be ways that these people are making defensive plays on both ends.
yeah.
It could be just one of those week two things. Who knows? But it's definitely not a good look when you got the Chiefs the next week and you got to answer those questions.
Hmm, hmm. Yeah, I think if we're seeing almost like the same result with this game as we did with the last game, okay, that might be grounds to start, questioning what's going on. But I just, like you said, I think it may have just been like a week two thing. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I was kind of confused. It almost seemed as if they were playing in Dallas.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
seemed to be more Dallas fans than LA fans, and that was weird. That was
Because you don't
wild.
get you don't get that feeling from the Raiders at all. At all.
No, no, you see those fans there.
You
God, I
feel
don't
him
know,
too. Like
man.
you
Yeah.
felt that through the screen in that primetime game against the Ravens.
Yeah.
So man,
Yeah.
yeah, that's tough to see, especially with a young team that's growing. You would think that they will want to cling on as soon as they can, ride that bandwagon. But
Mm-hmm.
to get back to your question earlier, I think that they definitely should be looking to trade Zeke. But the sad part about it is who nobody's going to want to take that contract. Nobody's going to want to
Yeah.
take on that amount of money for that
Yeah.
amount of a work in progress. I think
Mm-hmm.
the unfortunate thing, and we talked about this week 1 too, is just with that position is so hit or miss. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many chances for things to go wrong, every single injury.
Mm-hmm.
And the great ones really make you think that it's normal
Yeah.
for longevity in that position to be that way. And it just isn't the
Yeah.
case. So I'm really interested, man. I think if by the end of this season, this is what we're talking about every week,
Mm-hmm.
they're definitely going to be looking to move him.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from there.
Yeah. I know this is off topic, but hypothetical, real quick. Let's say that Dallas is interested in trading Zeke. What do you think the Ravens would be willing to pay to get him?
That's a really good question. Um,
Because that's a need, you know.
it is a need. It is a need. If I know the Cowboys, they're going to be asking for defensive pieces, and we
Mhm.
don't have them to give away right now.
Yeah.
A future second rounder, third rounder, that will be something I'm willing to part with. But then you need to understand that it doesn't work out with the contract. So it's such a hard situation to figure out. I would say that you're gonna lose more than you're gonna get by getting him, and that's fucked up to say because
Yeah.
he was looked at as such a great player, and
Yeah.
when he's on, and you see the difference. But
Yeah.
like you said, I just think there's a significant difference when you see your backup RB making a lot of plays that your starting
Mm-hmm.
RB isn't making. It doesn't really make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you're gonna want to keep feeding the ball to Pollard,
Yeah.
and even on screen passes and thinking dumps, that's what Dak wants.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's good in the blocking, but do you really want to be paying that much money for some pass blocking? I don't think so.
Yeah. Could have just invested that into the whole offensive line and secondary.
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
anything else. It's just so much money. And I understand why they did it. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
saying at all
Yeah.
that they made a mistake. Like,
Yeah.
it worked out that way. You had a star and you want to keep them. I understand that. But that's just the danger of paying a running back that much money. And it's hard to say
Yeah.
it that way because I want everybody to get paid.
Yeah.
But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, sometimes it's hard to live up to those contracts. Trust me, I know. I
Yeah.
was a Flacco guy when he wasn't great. I was saying he was top 5. So it was that
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes the value isn't what exactly you need it to be, but also it's what they've earned. So
Right.
you need to understand.
Right. Yeah. Jeremy's saying the 49ers if he's traded, which that's another team that makes a
That's a
lot of
good
sense.
one.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. So who you got in this game?
Man, I think it's gonna be a brutal Chiefs game. I think they're gonna come out looking for some vengeance, man. I think
Yeah.
Chiefs big in this one.
Yeah. I
And I think this game is gonna have some more people like your friend on the live that's saying, what's going on with this Chargers team and are they who we thought they were?
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think the Chiefs will win this one. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, I think the loss to Baltimore week 2 was like Mahomes' like third loss since he took over. Is
Hmm.
that it? That's crazy.
First loss in September.
That is crazy. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, I think it's so easy with people playing Madden and all that stuff. It's
Yeah.
so easy to act like what Mahomes is doing isn't like extraordinary. Like what he
Yeah.
what he does is
Yeah.
insane. He's gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and that's what he's doing right now. So that's
Already.
crazy to think about. Yeah,
Already. All right. What's our next marquee game?
Mark Keys. We got a couple to skip here.
Yeah.
I would say Colts Titans. This not too flashy, but
Not flashy
good
at all.
matchup for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, and God, man, like I'm honestly glad Wentz is not with Philadelphia anymore because I would not be able to take this
Mm.
year. Like, how do you sprain two ankles? How do you like? Who does that?
It looked like a very routine tackle too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I saw his right foot got caught underneath Donald's leg a little bit, but it
Mhm.
didn't seem like it was something that was like too extreme. I don't see how
Bro,
you do two ankles, bro. I
that's
don't
all
even.
you got, bro.
That's
That's all
yeah.
you got.
There's no spare parts. So yeah, this one this one has to be a defensive game. I don't even know what to expect from Eason in this game. I really don't. I didn't watch any of the preseason games, so I don't know what he's got. Um
I don't either, to be honest. I know
yeah,
that they're going to be leaning heavy on their running game, and that
you
makes
have
sense.
to.
You know,
You
John,
have to.
exactly. And
Yeah.
Taylor's really good, man. He
Yeah.
hasn't had those games this year yet.
Yeah.
He's definitely due for one, and I think opportunity may allow that to happen this week.
Yeah.
Um, I'm honestly surprised by both of these teams. I think even though everyone loves to shit on Wentz, I think he did a really good job at putting them in a position to win that game last week, regardless of what
Yeah.
happened, him getting injured. It was a lot closer game than I thought it would be, to be honest.
Yeah.
And they really gave them some issues on defense too.
Hmm.
So I think don't write off the Colts yet, but there's a big chance that they end up 0-3 here, and that's a really hard hole to dig yourself out of with an injury prone QB.
Yeah. I don't see how they win this game.
Mm,
I don't see how they win it. I mean, I think they can be in the game. I don't think they're gonna win it. Like at the end of the day, your defense is gonna get worn out against that
hmm
offense. It's
Everybody's does.
yeah, but I mean, you got Derrick Henry, Julio, and AJ. Like, I don't see. I mean, I could be wrong. I
They did
could
it
be
to the
wrong.
Seahawks last week. That's exactly what they
Yeah,
did to the Seahawks. And
yeah,
we both, that was one of the games we both got wrong. We both
yeah,
picked the Hawks.
yeah.
Um, it was I think it was what they needed. It was the same situation as the Ravens. They
Hmm.
needed a game like that, and
Hmm.
we didn't expect them to come up with it, and they came up big.
Yeah,
I think in this game, like you said, though, it's going to be a lot easier for them to make those big plays happen and really remind the whole league who we thought they were in the beginning of the season.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got Titans on this one for sure.
Yes,
Like,
sir. Me
this
too.
is I don't see what they're gonna do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt.
This is a sneaky fun one right here, though. This next one,
Hmm.
I'm gonna let you start on this one because I'm gonna finish with a bang. We got Bengals versus Steelers in Pittsburgh. What do you think of that matchup?
Is TJ Watt playing?
No, he's not.
Groin injury, right?
Hmm
I've if correct me if I'm wrong. I've been wrong on the Bengals the last 2 weeks, right?
Yes, we both. I only got them right week one.
I-
Who loses to the Bears?
yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay, yeah. Because I can see a scenario where both of these teams win. I can see a scenario where
I
they
agree.
both do it. Um, with TJ Watt not being out there, I think it makes life a lot easier for Burrow. But I'm going with Steelers. There's no way in hell I can sit here and pick the Bengals and in good conscience. I Steelers win this one. Najee Harris is that dude is a baller, bro. That dude's a baller.
Yep.
Ben, wait, hold up. Is Ben out?
He is questionable with the left pec issue. He throws with
He's
his
out.
right, but
He's out.
yeah, he's out.
He's
He's
out.
out, and he's gonna talk about that injury even if he isn't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean, I don't mind it though. I think he really got his ass handed to him last week, and
yeah,
it was bad to watch. I think
yeah.
that's what we were saying week one that we expected from the Bills.
Hmm.
The fact that the Raiders were able to produce like that 2 weeks in a row and have their defense make big plays in marquee moments was another cool storyline to watch unfold.
Yeah.
But as far as what I expect, I think especially with all these injuries, I'm going with the Bengals. I think they're a healthier team right now.
Hmm.
And a lot of the issues that were shown against Chicago, I think they're not going to be able to replicate because TJ Watt is out.
Right.
I think a lot of people underestimate how much of an effect he has on that defense, and what he does up front and how it helps everybody else out. Um, I'm really interested to see how Jamar Chase shows up this week.
Yeah.
Week 1 he had 100 yards. Week 2 he had a touchdown, but a little more tepid performance. I think
Hmm.
they need a big game out of him in order to make it work. But Joe Mixon is almost leading the league in rushing. Man, don't
Yeah.
sleep on that. I think this team, with the issues that the Steelers are having, I think it could be real issues and a potential upset for sure. But I hope that this game is at least competitive. I'm interested to see what Rudolph does because I do not have any faith in
I
anybody.
that's yeah. I don't have any faith in him either. I think I'm almost at the point where I'm just kind of like considering Harris and Juju, like them just leaning heavy on both them on offense and just see what happens.
And Deontay Johnson is their best receiver, though. I
Yeah,
hope that
is
I
he
hope
even
that they're
playing?
able to feed him. He should be. He should be.
Because
Is he injured?
he avoided a pretty serious injury last week. I think.
Okay.
I think he got injured like at the end of the game. Um,
Yeah, it looks like he's ready to go. It says he
he's
did
ready to
not
go.
suffer a serious knee injury. It was just a bruise,
Okay, okay. Ah, well,
thankfully. Yeah.
yeah. Thank God. Yeah, I'm gonna rock with the Steelers. I'm pretty sure I will be wrong. Because Watt's not out there, so I'm pretty sure I will be wrong. But I'm gonna pick the Steelers on this one. And let's see what happens.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
let's see what
sure.
happens.
So we got three fun games coming up, and then we're gonna go round robin and have a look back at last week. But
Yeah,
this is the biggest one, in my opinion, man. This is the biggest one right here. We got Bucks at Rams in the new stadium. Man,
yeah,
TB12, nine
yeah,
touchdowns, week
yeah,
2.
yeah,
What
yeah.
what do you expect out of this game? I hope both teams have 40.
It very well could happen. Uh, Stafford's been playing like crazy. And again, like I know it's early, but that he was my MVP favorite. So he's playing like that. Bro, this is gonna be an interesting game. Again, you can see a scenario where both teams win this game. This is gonna
Man,
just be about who just makes the least amount of mistakes.
for sure. And a big angle that not a lot of people are talking about, Super Bowl defense. Everyone's expecting it to be so great, but
Yeah,
seeing the way it performed against the Cowboys and then the
yeah,
Falcons, we
yeah,
know how we feel about the Falcons. Falcons threw up 28 on them
yeah,
last week. Regardless,
yeah,
you could be scoring 40
yeah.
against a team like this. You're gonna need your defense, and I think it's gonna be interesting to see how they show up.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shootout. Um, I think I saw with LA last week that they were able to really incorporate their run game, like pretty much pretty balanced. They had a pretty balanced offense last week. Um, so I mean, if they're able to continue that, then Cooper Cup has been lighting these defenses up, man. I I might go with the Rams on this one. It's a home game. I, like you said, if Atlanta was able to light that defense up the way they did, this might be I almost like a barbecue chicken alert. That's how
Legit.
that's how this feels. I
Mhm.
really I can really see Stafford just having fun out there
For sure.
and picking them apart. So I'm gonna go with the Rams. I know this is a game where uh, Brady could even break the record. I forgot for I think like passing yards. I think where he'll be like number one or something like that.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Um, he'll either break it this week or next week. Is most likely. I mean, this coming week or a week after, which will most likely be in that game against the Patriots. Um, but yeah, I think it's going to be a high power offensive game, and I think one of my questions about Tampa is their run game. Like I don't know, man. I don't have that much faith in their run game. Um, even though what's my guy's name? Giovanni
Fournette,
Bernard.
Bernard.
Bernard. Bernard's been able to give them some of
Mhm,
the stuff that they didn't have last year. So I think it's improved in that way. But
mhm.
you're not able to fully rely on your run game, you know? Um,
He's not an RB1.
oh, not at all. Not at all. So I'm going with the Rams on this one. I think if you got Cooper Cup in your lineup this week, because it seems like he and Stafford have a nice connection.
For sure.
If Cup is in your lineup, man, like, or if you're facing Cup in fantasy, you better pray.
I'm putting Godwin up too, though. I think the the
Yes,
the Bucks
yes,
are gonna light it up too. I don't think
yeah.
it's gonna be a one-sided game.
Oh, I don't think
I
so
agree
either.
with you though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I definitely agree with you though. I think the biggest thing is gonna be able to see whether or not Aaron Donald can make some big plays against Tom Brady. You were
Hmm.
correct, by the way. It is 500 yards until Breeze's record, which
Okay.
they're projecting to be week 4, which would be
Yeah,
against the Pats. So that'll be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Um,
But would it be
but
interesting if he did get it in this game?
literally 500 yards in one game going
Yeah,
off on the
yeah,
road.
yeah,
This insane. Just what he's done so far is insane.
yeah, yeah.
Um, this season
I
only.
wouldn't put it
So
past him. I wouldn't put it past him.
exactly,
It's very possible. It's very
exactly.
possible.
Gronk's gonna get 10 touchdowns this year. We're
Yeah,
going back to vintage
bro.
Brady. It's crazy.
I swear on everything. I had the opportunity to get Gronk in fantasy. Like, God, I probably passed on him like three or four different drafts. Like, you know, I'll have to get someone else I can rely on. Gronk has been crazy this year, man. It's
For
almost like he
sure.
turned the clock back.
Hmm.
It's
It's
almost
like
like we're
he built
seeing
off of that
vintage.
season so much more. Literally,
Yeah,
he's physically back to where he wanted to be,
yeah,
and he just looks like he did back in New England. He looks like a man amongst boys out there for real. He
yeah,
looks really big, really sturdy.
yeah,
I agree with your points on their run game, though. I think they have a hard time balancing that. I think that it gives them the best opportunity, though, which is such a weird thing to say.
yeah,
You want to have the run game, but at the same time, I feel like it gives them the best opportunity to win by putting the ball in Brady's hands.
yeah.
It's so crazy, man. I don't know. They got to be some sort of vitamins that Brady's getting that I'm not privy to because that is insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
And he's talking about he want to play 250. I don't doubt it.
Yeah,
For real.
he could. At this point, it's very realistic. I mean, I know everybody was pretty much laughing at it like 3 or 4 years ago, the idea of him playing that long. I, at this point, it looks very possible
You don't see any other regression that you see with any other quarterbacks that are
at all.
even, I mean, people that like Matt Ryan, like people that are
Yeah,
younger than him.
yeah,
You see the regression in them more than you see in Brady. It's crazy.
yeah,
I've been waiting to bury him for years, man. After he left, after he left New England, I was like, "There's no way this team does well. He's already been
yeah,
aging."
yeah.
Man, he makes us look stupid every year, though.
It's hilarious. I went and bought some avocado ice cream a couple weeks ago.
Gotta stay on
Hey
track.
man, let me try and see what I can do.
The old secret sauce. But yeah, we're
Yeah.
both going with the Rams in this one. I
Yes.
think if the Bucks come out top of this one, I think we're back in that spot where we're saying it's almost a shoe-in that they're in that World Series, that final game.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Super Bowl. I was about to say World Series,
Yeah.
but that it's just crazy that the level of excellence that they've been able to create there.
Yeah.
But moving on, we've
Yes,
got
sir.
some fun ones. These last two ones are some fun ones, man. I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
riff, but we've got Packers, Niners. Um,
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think about the resurging Packers after their performance against the Lions?
Well, and we talked about this last week. I think everybody was like overblowing the whole Aaron Rodgers didn't look like he didn't care type of thing. That was stupid. When you're a competitor, you go out there, even if you have nothing but paper towels in front of you, you're gonna get out there and do your best. So they legit make a case that they could win this game. I mean, I'm not choosing them to win this game. It's the Niners.
Get that right.
Yeah, I'm choosing the Niners, but I mean, with Aaron Rodgers out there, I mean, it's just is you almost hate to bet against him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's more about what the Niners have uh on both sides of the ball, more so being a balanced offense. I mean, I know their run game took a nice hit over the last 2 weeks, but I think that I think they're still going to come out on top on this. You know, that defensive line is going to have fun. Um, yeah, I don't know that I see this being extremely close, but at the same time, it's one of those games where you can definitely see, you know, where you can see the upset. You can
For
see
sure.
it's possible, but I'm not choosing the Packers in this one at all. At all. I think the Niners, seeing how they played last week, um, that defensive line is just crazy. It's that's I don't know. I don't know what else to say about them.
Yeah. I was
They're
just gonna
just
say I
crazy.
just love watching the homer come out of both of us today.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm gonna be honest. I think you're pumping up the Niners because of how well they looked against your
No,
team,
no, no,
man.
no,
That's
no,
that's what I
no,
think's
no, no,
happening.
no. Honestly, and look, I know Darren said something about it earlier about me trying to skip over the L. I was trying to just not talk about it because I didn't want to talk about the Eagles in the beginning and then talk about them at the end. But I think it was more so the Eagles lost that game than the Niners won that game. I forgot who it was, but even one of the players on the Niners said that they're like the Eagles folded. They just folded before we did. Yeah, and honestly, it was more so about play call. I don't know what they were doing in the red zone, like on two different trips. We should have won that game. You know, I'm not making any excuses. We should have won that game. That was just idiotic play calling in certain on certain series, and it gave them the game. You know,
And
so
if it would have worked, that's all we would have been talking about. We would have been
yeah,
talking about how
yeah,
great of a play it was.
yeah.
But I agree, it was tough. Those calls specifically trying to run a Philly special or something like
Bro,
that.
I don't ever want to see that Philly special again. I don't want to see it again. I
Back it
love
up.
it. I love it. That shit
When
needs
it
to stay.
works.
Yeah, this just let it stay in the Hall of Fame, you know, of Philly Hall of Fame, because I know it's not gonna, but in the Philly Hall of Fame, just let it stay there. We love what we saw in the Super Bowl, right? I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see that again. And especially not if you're not gonna do it right. If you're not gonna do it right, like Greg Ward could
Exactly.
have, like, Miles Sanders was wide open on the left side, wide open. Greg Ward was
Mhm.
just standing there looking at the right. I'm like, so it didn't do anything. It was a series of unfortunate events, making no excuses. The Niners won that game, and they just didn't drop the ball. We
And I
fumbled.
and I and I said that because I thought that both teams sort of left a lot on the field in that game. I think,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's why I'm going with the Packers in this one. I think that there's some room for improvement on that side of the ball because I
Mm-hmm.
don't think this team is going to be making those same mistakes. With all due respect to your Eagles, I don't think they're going to be making those same mistakes, especially in red zone scenarios.
Yeah,
Aaron Jones balled last week. He had 4 touchdowns.
yeah.
I don't expect that sort of production
I was
from
about to
him,
say,
but I
yeah,
expect more. I expect a lot more from
yeah.
the wide receiver positions.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
interested to see how those guys are going to step up because that's what everyone's been talking about coming into the season. You know, you got
Mm-hmm.
these guys. This is all we've been waiting for on Rodgers' end. How are they going to produce? So
Right.
I think this game is going to be a good one, though. Like you said, I think this is going to be similar to more so that week one game than last week, more less of a defensive game, more of an offensive sort of see who could have the bigger drive sort of game. I'm
Right.
going with the Packers in that scenario. I think they bounced back very well. There's some questions in the secondary, and that's why I think
Mm-hmm.
that this game could potentially be a shootout. Early on, they couldn't stop Goff for the life of them, and that's
Yeah,
Goff. You know
yeah,
that's not
yeah,
nowhere near what you're going to be facing. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Garoppolo is anywhere near one of the top three quarterbacks in that division. But even with that, I think that they're going to have some coverage issues, and this game is going to be a lot closer because of it on the
yeah,
Packers end.
yeah.
So I'm interested to see over the course of the season whether or not how these two teams continue to develop,
Mm-hmm.
specifically on the Packers on the defensive end and the
Mm-hmm.
Niners on the offensive end. With
Yeah.
all of these injuries coming up, all of the questions around the QB situation.
Mhm.
I think there could be some real room for growth or some real room for big regressions.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. That great point. That secondary, I'm not. I don't like the secondary at all. With San Francisco, but to me, it's more so about. I think that I don't know if I have as much faith in Green Bay's offensive line to hold up against that defensive line. I think that's more so how I'm looking at it because uh, Green Bay doesn't have the offensive line that Philly has, you know.
No way.
So like I know they got some pressure on Hurts a little bit, but it wasn't they 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 didn't do as much damage as a lot of people expected them to do. I
Exactly.
think the damage that a lot of people expected to happen against Philly is possible against Green Bay. The only reason why it might not happen is because Aaron Rodgers. That's literally it. That's literally it. But that
Exactly.
offensive line, I don't have any faith in them.
For sure.
Yeah,
I think this has potential for being those who has the ball last kind of
yeah,
scenarios. I think
yeah,
it's going
yeah.
to be a
They
close
could
one.
do. Yeah.
But all right, we're moving on. The big one. I'm going to
Yes,
let you
sir.
go on this one. What do you think is going to happen? How do you think Dak looks in this big divisional game?
Bro, honestly, Dak looks phenomenal this year. He looks phenomenal, especially with not having any preseason work. He looks phenomenal. However, I'm not choosing. I'm not choosing Dallas. I'm not choosing Dallas. I'm choosing. I'm choosing Philly. I think now. Don't get me wrong. Philly lost Brandon Graham for the season, torn Achilles. They lost Brandon Brooks for I think like 3 or 4 weeks. He's gonna go on IR for a pec strain, I think. Um, but you have Landon Dickerson that will be taking his spot. I like what I saw from Landon Dickerson. I like what I saw from Jordan Mailata. I'm not. I'm not afraid of Dallas's defensive line. I'm just. I'm
Shouldn't be.
just not like it's to me. It's almost like if we did what we did against San Francisco and we basically gave that game away. I'm not. There's no way that I feel like we're gonna we have anything to really fear going up against Dallas. I think it is another shootout. I think this is going to be one of those games where we're just paying attention to the offense. Philly's defense again to me is a sleeper. I still think that they're one of these teams that people are not paying attention to on the defensive side. Um, but I think we're just like it's gonna be is literally just gonna be Dak versus Hurts. It's just who makes the least amount of mistakes. And I truthfully do not I don't believe in Zeke, man. I really don't believe in Zeke. I think we're gonna see I think Pollard is gonna outwork Zeke in this game. I really do believe that. I think he's gonna ball out. I don't think that put it like this. I think he's gonna outwork Zeke, but I don't think that it's gonna be where he's like just running all over Philly's defense. I just think that he's gonna outwork him, and this is just gonna be one of those games where he shines. He just
For
shines.
sure.
I think um I think Hertz has a chip on his shoulder from last week. I think he's gonna get some stuff together. Devontae Smith as well. I will say that I think that Sirianni needs to do something with the play call. I don't like what I saw last week. I don't like what I saw. They had
And
so many times where they could have just taken control of that game. I think they at one point they could have been in a position where they were like what almost like 14-0, 17-0, something like that.
mhm.
They had the opportunity to be in that position and they just gave it away.
So I
So
wanted to ask you real quick. Do
mhm,
you think that Sirianni has trust issues with Miles Sanders? Because
we
that's the
talked
only
about
thing that
this.
makes sense to me. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
We talked about this I think 2 weeks ago. what I told you, I think one of the biggest issues with Miles Sanders is his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. Um, I don't think Sirianni has trust issues with him. I think he was trying to like do a balance game. Gainwell is he's good. He's just good. He's just going to be there. He's going to be the second running back. I think what they need to do though is go get Jordan Howard off the practice squad though, because there was I think one of the trips to the red zone where, if I'm not mistaken, they were trying to do something with running Gainwell to the right. I think just got stopped. Like Howard, as a vet, and he's more of a power back. I think he would have. I think he would have driven in there. I can see where they bring him up. Honestly, from the practice squad. Not it's not a knock against Miles Sanders or Gainwell, but I think Howard just has that power, that grit, where just running straight up the middle, it's just what's needed.
Exactly.
They just need to do it.
4th and 1. I don't care what issues you have with your line. You're
Yeah.
running it. There's
run
no
it.
excuse. You run. There's
We've
no excuse.
Seen this. We've seen this way too many times. We like the Seattle versus Patriots.
Super Bowl. Yep.
You're supposed to
I was
run.
screaming.
I'm
gonna say right now, I was screaming "fuck Brady" that whole game. Fuck Brady.
Yeah.
I was jacking it the whole game. I was like, "There's no way they win this." And literally, all you got to do is run the ball. You have Marshawn, and what do? But do you think, because even you were mentioning just now that potential solutions as far as those short down scenarios, I think that that's something to really pay attention to. I think there is some sort of divide where they're saying, if we're in that scenario, I don't trust that these backs are going to make that down for us, and that's a problem.
Yeah. And whether or not they put like this, I don't get the feeling that they don't trust him. I just think that Sirianni was getting a little cute.
Got you.
If we see that again this week, I think that's where I'll go ahead and say I believe there's a trust issue. Right now, I don't think there's a trust issue though. I think it's just him just trying to. It was a game. It was his first game at the link as a head coach. I think he was trying to do a little too much, and he just got a little too cute. So
I think both RBs could ball out this game, and we won't be talking about the scenario again.
No, I don't think we will.
Literally.
I don't think we will. I think again, it's going to be. I think every mistake that Philly made last week, they correct this week. They didn't have as many penalties this game as week 1, so I think they clean it. I think they clean things up, all around. And I think Devontae Smith is going to have a crazy game. I think he's going to have a crazy game. So I'm choosing Philly on this one. It could be a close game. I'm not going to say it's a blowout. This is in Dallas, but I'm choosing Philly, and I have no shame in it.
Trust me, I know. That's why I love setting you up for these, man. I love teaming up because you can go, and I love it.
Yeah.
I think this game is going to be a tough one. I think there's potential for both defenses to come up with big plays that will point to and say, this was the moment that they sealed the win. Yeah. I really like Micah Parsons, man. I know I talk about it every week. I know he's my defensive player of the year pick.
Yeah.
But I think if anybody's going to play big, I think it's going to be him. I think he wants to really put himself in the forefront when they're thinking about this divisional rivalry and what they have to worry about. But let's be real, it all starts with him and whatever comes behind him. And it's crazy that you think about that for a rookie. But
yeah.
I think the Eagles definitely have a much higher potential to have those defensive plays that we could point to. But I also feel like the Cowboys have a much higher potential to say, we're already up 14-0 in the first quarter. How are you guys going to respond now? I'm really interested to watch this game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the potential is
Yeah, I'm
there.
glad that this is one of those games we have all to ourselves. So we're not flipping
Yes.
channels. We're not looking at anything else. We're gonna really be able to see how both of these teams respond to that pressure. And man, I'm gonna be real. I did not expect the Cowboys to look the way they did against the Chargers, and
Yeah.
that's definitely leading my pick here. I know you don't want to hear it. I'm going with the Cowboys this week. I think Dak goes off. I think they're
Oh, he
not going to
will.
have any success. They're not going to have any success running the ball this week. I think
Yeah.
literally if they try to run the ball, if they try to force feed the ball, even with Pollard, I think they're going to have so much more of a hard time than if they try to pass three downs. If they
I'm
pass three downs a drive, that makes more sense to me.
remember
What were you
this
going to say?
name. Remember this name, Josh Sweat.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Watch out for Josh
do
Sweat.
it.
I think the same impact that Micah Parsons has for Dallas, same type of player. So, like
Nice.
in terms of impact, I think he's always in that backfield, man. He gets back there quick and easy. So I think it's very possible we could see the battle on offense is Dak and Hurts. The battle on defense is Parsons and Sweat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna round robin these. We're gonna try to get through these a little bit quicker. I just want to start sort of with a quick narrative to hit you off on before we get into the picks. We got
Yeah.
Cardinals against the Jaguars. I think the Cardinals, man, they're really good on both sides of the ball, but I
Yeah.
think there's some questions on the defensive end. 2 weeks in a row, you got shootouts.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Do you think that says more about their offense and sort of keeping the defense on the field because they keep scoring, or do you
Mhm.
think there's some sort of defensive issues we could keep our eyes out on
I
in
think
the
it's
secondary specifically?
yeah. I think it's very possible. It's the fact that they've just been on the field a lot.
Mhm.
I I don't have any questions about their defense, to be completely honest. Um, Mainly because that line is just crazy, and Jones is on another level. It's
For
just on
sure.
another level. So Jones and Watt together is that's not a pairing I ever thought we would see. Yeah.
Yeah. Eh,
Yeah.
Trust me, I know who we're going with on this one. Cardinals.
Oh man, look, I think I have the Cardinals in fantasy.
The
If I
defense, yep.
don't, yeah, on defense. If I don't, I'm picking them up
For this one. Yeah,
for this
that's a
one.
good bet. You get some interceptions.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, I'm gonna say though, even though the numbers aren't looking great, watch the film, guys. I promise you. If you're
Hmm.
watching this live, watch the film. He's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Everything else is just bad. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be very hard for him to look the way he should
Yeah.
when they have so many problems on both sides of the ball. But um, man, we've been asking for this one since week one, but it's not happening because they did the right thing. It's happening because Dalton went down with an injury.
Yeah.
Fields is starting against the Browns. I hate this. I hate this, but I'm gonna let you start. What do you think about this?
I'm glad he's starting. I mean, I hate that it's because of injury, but he should have been starting from the beginning. There's no questions about it. I think he's going to bring another dynamic element to their offense. Still, they're losing.
100%. What what
Pretty much
what
it.
what frustrates me so much about this scenario is you bring in Dalton to be your backup QB in my mind, right?
Yeah.
And now you run him into the ground, you get him injured, and now
Hmm.
you're bringing in your star guy with the potential of now you're gonna run the whole offense. I'm gonna be real. He looks green in a lot of areas. He looks
Yeah.
green. I'm interested to see how he looks as a four down QB because as a one down every drive QB,
Hmm.
there's some questions to be answered.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that increased workload, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises.
Yeah.
I don't think he looks good this week. I think the Browns defense is going to show up
Yes.
and really make us question a lot of things. But the fact that they let their backup QB get injured before
Yep.
their star makes no sense to me because now you have no insurance and the person that you want learning the right way
Yeah.
is going to be force fed, which is
Yeah.
not the scenario you want for them.
Yeah.
If you had Andy Dalton coming out once or three times on a drive to throw a pass, that's much better in my opinion than what they did in the reverse because Justin Fields would have got the reps to put him in a position to do well this week. He doesn't have those reps. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a tough one. I think he's going to be running all over the field trying to get away from the pressure. I'm going with the Browns in this one.
Yeah, and from experience, he has Jason Peters, old man Jason Peters on his left. That is going to be brutal.
For sure.
You don't want that.
And we talking old man Peters.
Yeah, I love Peters, man. I'm not trying to trash him, but God, dog, man. My God.
For sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be a brutal game for him. So yeah, Browns for sure.
Next up, we got the Washington football team up against the Bills. I called that game right against the Giants, but I thought they did so much to make Danny Dimes look good.
Yeah.
All the New York fans were coming out the woodwork like, "Oh no, you see what I told you?" I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think Washington's big problem is in the secondary, and I think they've been showing that over and over again. Yeah. Slayton lost the game for them with that drop pass. Literally horrible. Washington should have lost that game.
Yeah.
10 times out of 10. Both of them did everything they could to lose that game. Both teams.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy to watch down the stretch.
Yeah, that was a series of unfortunate events.
So many penalties.
Yeah.
Anything you can name in the negative playbook, they did.
Yeah.
So I think the Bills take over this one easy. I think they did the right thing coming out and punching the Dolphins in the face last week. I think they do the same thing here. I think they win big.
Oh yeah. Bills win big. I'm still hoping, from a fantasy standpoint, Josh Allen has that game. I'm hoping he has that game. Again. I need that type of game. I need actually bigger than that.
Singletary was eating all them yards, man. Singletary took all them yards.
Yeah, I need because I got Allen in I think like 5 of my leagues, man. So I need him to. I need it.
It's time to show up for that early pick, man.
Yeah.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the Saints versus the Patriots. LASIK Jameis versus Mac Jones. I'm not gonna lie, man. I think it was a big overreaction week 1. I think Kamara put him in a lot of spots to make those plays, to get those touchdown throws. I think he looked a lot more like old Jameis in week 2 than he did in week 1.
He did.
And if you're gonna have a problem against any team, it's gonna be against Belichick scheming up against your quarterback to make him make mistakes. Mac Jones, I will admit though, he's making good reads. He's playing really slow out there in a lot of ways. He's a real game manager. You see him waving a lot of receivers, telling them where to go. You love to see that, especially in a young player. But I haven't been too thrilled by him. I'm gonna say the potential's there, but they're not going out of their way to free him at all. Like this isn't a Patrick Mahomes scenario where he's just going crazy throwing the ball. It's been a lot of short passes, a lot of game manager situations, and the fact that he's staying composed and doing his job is good to see. But I just want to see more from him. I want to see more explosive plays from him. And let's be real. A lot of people were saying, look, this is the new Brady. They got Brady as a 6th round pick. This is a 1st round pick.
Yeah.
So I don't think he showed out to that potential yet. So I'm really looking at this game to see against this Saints defense how he looks and whether or not he makes the plays that they're going to need for them to win this season. I think this is going to be one of those telling games as well. I know we love pointing to those games, but this might be one of those games that we look back at and say, maybe they are ready for a playoff run. Maybe not a deep one, but maybe they are if they're able to come up and look good, especially offensively in this game.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm taking Saints.
Nice.
I'm taking the Saints. I think last week, again, like we talked about last week, was it being a division game. Those division games are different. So I'm expecting the Saints to bounce back and win this one.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. We're rifling them off. Next up.
Yeah.
Falcons Giants.
This ain't
the Doodle Bowl.
Yeah.
I can't wait till Daniel Jones goes off in this game and everyone's like, do you see 2 weeks in a row?
Bro.
No, sir. And
I would be wearing
I'll give him his credit where he deserves it. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, you would be.
I would be worried, man. God, dog.
I was just gonna say, man. I think I'm gonna be honest, man. I didn't expect him to do that well against Washington.
Yeah.
I think that he put them in a position to win. I think if you could point at anybody, him more than Heineke, he put his team in a position to win, and they
Hmm.
didn't come through for him.
Yeah.
So that you like to see that as a Giants fan, but at the same time, I just think obviously the issues with both of these teams are so glaring.
Hmm.
I think this can be a shootout because of how bad both teams have been looking defensively.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going with the Giants in this one just because I haven't seen anything from the Falcons, and even with the points they put up against the Bucks, it was sort of a weird layover situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm really watching that Bucks defense this week again because
Yeah.
that was so weird to me. But I'm going with the Giants here.
I'm going Giants too. I have no faith. I have zero faith in the Falcons at all. I don't even
Since
know.
week one.
I don't even know if they're going to win a game.
Mm,
In that sense, they'll go
that's
undefeated.
tough. Literally.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
they're not
man,
winning this game, man.
for sure, for
Not at
sure. It's
all.
sad.
There's no way in hell.
That's so funny. Next up, still in the 1 o'clock games, we got Ravens Lions. What are you thinking?
Oh, Ravens.
Mm,
Ravens. There's nothing else to say. Ravens. Like
yep,
I think they started to feel themselves, and I think they got into a nice rhythm with this game. So I can't see how they don't continue,
for
and
sure.
especially against the Lions. It's the Lions.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really hope to see the passing game show up this week. So that
Oh yeah, if you have Lamar in fantasy, Jesus.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oof.
Get those points while you could get them.
Marquise
But
Marquise Brown is coming off my bench. I'm putting him in. Like
nice, nice. Yeah,
there's no other
good
way.
call. Good call. Yeah, good
Yeah.
call. I'm gonna say if I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big fan, and I'll wear my bias on my sleeve. But
Yeah.
if the offense struggles in this game, that's gonna be something to point to for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. 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 They definitely shouldn't be suffering in this game at all.
All right, next up we got Jets Broncos. I think the Broncos are in a very similar situation to the Panthers right now.
Yeah.
I think they're very good. I think they're better than a lot of people thought they were, but I also think they had a very, very, very light schedule.
Yes.
Um, I'm definitely picking the Broncos here. I think with the with the way Wilson looked last week, they might end up with 3 picks, 4 picks, 5 picks. Who knows?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Literally, the fact that he threw three last week in a row, not even in total, in a row, four
Yeah.
total picks. That was insane. I just once again, I'm sorry to my Jets fans out there.
I'm not. They look horrible. The Broncos
Yep.
win this, and I think if I didn't have Josh Allen as my starter, I'm putting Bridgewater in. I have him on my bench. I would put Bridgewater in for sure.
And I just want to say shout out to Bridgewater looking like a freaking playmaker out there.
Bro, I'm so
Everyone
happy
was
for him.
saying, exactly, man. Everyone was saying Vic Fangio was looking for that guy to make those plays, and
Hmm.
that's what he's been and more. I think the the fact that they went with him over lock week one and kept it this way, there's been no chatter whatsoever, and he's showed up every
Yeah,
single game. He showed up,
yeah,
averaging 300 yards if I'm not mistaken. So I
yeah.
agree. Play Teddy. Let's go.
Play Teddy. You
Next
you
up,
you, you keep up with him.
for sure, for sure. Next up, we got Dolphins versus Raiders. Obviously, all the health issues on the Dolphins side. I think it's pretty easy to know where we're going with this one.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm going Dolphins. I'm just playing.
Yo, you got me. You got me.
Go Raiders, man. I'd
Double
be stupid to
Raiders.
go Ralph
Double Raiders.
Dolphins.
The Rolfins, yes, sir.
Yeah, there's no way.
Finally, Seahawks Vikings. I think this is a sneaky game right here. I think
It is.
you
It
know
is. Yeah.
you got all the narratives coming in. You got a pretty formidable offense with the Vikings.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook is balling as to be expected. Um, I just think the Seahawks come with a better defensive play, and that really ends up being the difference. I think you saw in that Cardinals game that they could really keep up with some top offenses in this league.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep an eye on. Week one and two, they had really close games, and
Hmm.
their offense carried.
Hmm.
I think they just can't get a stop on defense, and that's the
Right.
issue.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going Seahawks in this one. This
Nice. Me
I
too.
I can't go Vikings. It's just something in I like, and I love Eric Kendricks, man. Like they have some real nice pieces on their defense. I just like I'm not choosing that defense over Russell Wilson though.
Yeah, exactly.
Wilson
Exactly.
and
Let Russ
Lockett,
cook.
bro.
I
Wilson and
got
Lockett is
Russ in two of
crazy.
my leagues, and
Yeah.
you best believe he's going to be starting this week.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Fantasy wise, how do you feel about DK Metcalf this year so far?
Definitely not what everyone was expecting. I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of room to make up for
Yeah,
throughout
yeah,
the
yeah,
season.
yeah.
But I think he's going to ball out no matter what. I think it's going to come. Obviously, Tyler Lockett has seen the bulk of it so far. It'll even out throughout the
Yeah.
course of the season. I think you can't watch him play and think he's struggling. I think it's a
Right,
numbers thing.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He looks to be in top form the way he was last year. I just think opportunity hasn't been too easy with a lot of teams really keying in on him defensively.
right, right. Yeah, I think he'll be again. It's the Seahawks. There's no way I'm going against them. There's
Good
just no way.
calls.
Yeah.
Good calls, man. I
Uh,
just really wanted to quickly recap too last week.
yeah.
Our picks update. Both of us went 9-7 last week. So we
Yeah.
still have not had a losing week, man.
Hey man.
That's beautiful.
Hey, I
If
I
you
think
handicapping us, you're doing good. You're
yeah.
making money.
Oh yeah.
Promise.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We're gonna and we're looking to bring some betting experts on pretty soon. So tune
Nice.
in. Keep watching because if you're into making the bets, we'll get you guys fixed up. And I you know what? Look, if you lose any money, don't call me.
For sure.
Ain't my fault.
Literally. It was dope going live with you guys today. Thank you for
Yes,
tuning in
sir.
as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give me your handles real quick, bro.
Yes, sir. You can find me on Twitter, Negron MMA, and you can find me on Instagram as well, Chris Negron underscore. Check me out, man. I'm trying to post up these videos, trying to get as much content out there. This weekend, I'm going to be live tweeting out the UFC event that's going to be happening on
Yes.
Saturday, reacting and responding to what's going on. So check me out.
Yeah, that's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be great. And as always, you can find me Derrick underscore OTS, DERRICK, black way to spell it. But more so, don't follow me, follow the brand OTS guys on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, youtube.com/OTS guys. Go to the website, check out the new articles that we have up. We have one by our very own Dwayne Dickey covering AEW and the wrestling promotion, and also we just got a new article up this week about the art of footwork in the NBA, by Nate Ma- Moskowitz. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Phenomenal work. Please keep up with the stuff we have going on. There's a lot of dope content coming out. We have two new shows that are coming out really soon that we will be announcing. Please keep watching because these shows are going to be hilarious and you're going to love them. So tune in, follow us everywhere. Let us know what we think. Give us some good feedback. And it was great going live with you guys that were watching live. Appreciate your support. And we'll catch y'all next week.
Go Birds, baby.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, go. Well, we can both say go Birds, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's why it's
Yeah.
smooth. You know,
So yeah, I
we don't
love
gotta
that. I like
talk
that.
over each other.
We'll catch y'all next week.
Have a good one. Yeah.